The backhoe struck metal. It was supposed to be a routine excavation. May 2005. Elmhurst, Queens. Beneath the cracked pavement and matted roots, construction crews were tearing up the ground to build new foundations. But just 6 feet down, the machine hit something solid, something smooth, sealed, an iron coffin. The crew froze. Police arrived. Yellow tape went up. At first, they thought it was a recent body, buried illegally, maybe the victim of a crime. The face inside looked untouched by time. A little girl, around 10 years old, braided hair, white dress, hands folded, skin still soft. But she had been dead for more than a century and a half. The casket was ornate, almond-shaped with viewing glass at the top, cracked by the impact but still holding fast. Around her neck, a beaded necklace. Beneath her, dried flowers turned brittle and brown. The scent of camphor and roses still lingered in the sealed air. The girl had been embalmed, carefully, lovingly, preserved in a style that hadn't been used since the 1800s. Forensic teams were called in, historians, pathologists. Piece by piece, her story began to take shape. The coffin bore the name of an inventor, Almond Dunbar Fisk. In the 1840s, he patented a line of airtight coffins made of iron, designed to keep disease from spreading and to preserve the dead in near-perfect condition. Whoever she was, someone had cared enough to give her the best. She had likely lived and died sometime in the 1850s. Back then, the land where she was found had belonged to the African Methodist Episcopal Church. It had once been a thriving black community. The church ran its own cemetery, where free African Americans were laid to rest with dignity in a city still riddled with segregation. But the cemetery was long gone. The church demolished. The graves had been moved, most of them anyway. Somehow this one had been left behind, undisturbed, forgotten, and preserved. She became known in the press as the girl in the iron coffin. Examinations showed no signs of trauma. She hadn't been murdered. Most likely, she died of an illness, perhaps yellow fever or cholera, which ravaged New York in waves during the 19th century. Her remains were so well preserved that researchers could see the inflammation in her lungs. She was 10 years old, no more. But the strangest part was this. She didn't look like death. Not at all. Her skin still held a softness. Her body, shrouded in layers of fabric, looked more like she'd been laid to rest yesterday. There was a tenderness to the way she had been dressed, a final act of care, frozen in time. They reconstructed her face, ran DNA, compared church records. After months of searching, they found her name, Martha Peterson, born in 1841, died in 1851, the daughter of William and Matilda Peterson, an African-American couple who lived just blocks from where she was unearthed. Her father worked as a porter, her mother as a laundress. They had given her the most beautiful burial they could, and then, for 154 years, she lay beneath the soil while the world forgot. Today, she rests under a new headstone in a marked grave, but the image of her, perfectly preserved in iron, locked beneath the city, still haunts. Because some ghosts don't rise. They wait. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. If you enjoyed this true story, join us next time, if you dare.